Good morning. We are working on Christian mental health, and this is the fourth class, I think. It's about the depression. Depression. Actually, this is a huge topic, and sorry for the whiteboard. It's kind of messed up, so I don't know. Depression is kind of a huge topic nowadays because lots of people are dying because of the depression. Many people are wondering why people are dying because of the depression. Well, they can just feeling depressed. Depressed means this is a person, and the person is feeling pressed down. D means down, right? So feeling depressed, it's like somebody is pushing the person down. So actually they are feeling somebody literally pushing the person down. What if that's a you know what happened in the Floyd case? Few police officers pressed him down, especially the Chauvin, I think. The crazy police officer pressed his neck down with his knee, with his whole body weight. That was illegal, and he got sentenced to something. But anyway, Floyd is, he didn't have any weapons or something like that, and the police officers had to just, handcuffs or something on him, but he just, the Chauvin or Derek Chauvin, I think, he just pressed his neck down until he died. That's even though you are not pressed by the knee of the Derek Chauvin, but you are feeling like that. You're feeling like that. And then, their feeling just go down, go down, and he hit the bottom. He hit the bottom, and it's gonna bounce back. And this is the point people usually suicide, kill themselves, because lots of people are thinking that they're gonna kill themselves at this point, but actually they are helpless, and they have no power and willing even to kill themselves at the all the way bottom. Okay, but when they hit the bottom and bounce back a little bit, and this is the point, they want to just kill themselves because they felt and they know what happened, all those stages. And then because the person is afraid of those kind of feelings, and they have good enough power and energy to kill themselves at this point. So sometimes certain point over here around here, depends on the people though, but they kill themselves around here. It's pretty sad. Anyway, depression is pretty tough, and so lots of people are dying with depression because of this. Well, depression is what's so-called the common cold. You know what the cold, when during the winter time you caught the cold, right? I caught the cold many times, like 100 times in my life. 100 times? Well, but I remember some, cold, experiences with the cold, because it was pretty tough, and I lost, I think, roughly almost 15 pounds because of the flu. That's stronger than the normal common cold, but anyway, cold is kind of a semi-pandemic. I think 50,000 US people are dying because of the cold. Because of the cold. Maybe flu and cold. A year. That's a lot of people, right? Now we lost 500,000, more than 500,000 people because of the COVID. So far, I don't know, the number is still clicking up. It's pretty sad. Anyway, the depression is kind of a common cold. It's like feeling dizzy and no energy at all, and just coughing and feeling really bad day by day, right? So anyway, it is kind of so popular in mental health. So this is a very important one nowadays, because number one cause of death because must be heart disease, like heart attack and etc. And number two, depression must be number 2 or 3. Out of the many causes of death in USA. Okay, and it's not only what happening to USA, but everywhere nowadays. Because as time passes and the more the science and kind of development, we are living with lots of electric IT devices, but we have more depressions. Kind of sad. So anyway, depression is pretty tough topic. So we want to just work on it slowly but thoroughly. So I think, I don't know, I'm trying to finish this today, but if I can't, we're gonna just work on this next week too. Depression. Okay, why we all feel sad, moody or low from time to time. Some people experience these feelings intensely for long periods of time, like weeks, months, or years. So it lasts pretty long. Well, I can feel depressed a couple of days, but that's what happened to all people. Okay? What if I failed to driver license test or any other test or interviews, job interviews or something like that? I'm supposed, I feel bad. Okay? I really feel bad. Why not? That's what all people feel, right? You fail on your test, job, or you fail on your job interview, but you are happy. You have a problem. You have a problem, right? I failed. No one does that. Okay, so when you just fail something, when you just broke up with your friends, or experienced something nasty or something, and you're gonna feel depressed kind of for a few hours or for a few days. But what if that lasts longer than days, so but weeks, months, years, then we're gonna say you got depression. Okay, you got depression. And sometimes without any apparent reason. You cannot say any particular reason, to make onset your depression, but you feel really depressed. You don't know why. Sometimes we don't know why, right? Because many things can happen together. But sometimes a little thing happened But we don't think that is too little to trigger the depression I have right now. So we got confused. But the little things can, make us depressed, right? Feel bad, feel sad, right? Maybe we don't want to just admit that that little thing just is making me feel depression. So we are feeling a little bit shame because that is too little. But that is all, in general, people can think that is too little to make any depression or to feel sad for many days and weeks. But actually, I can feel that way. For me, that is not a little thing. Because it just touched my weak point. Because we all have weak points. Because of the money, because of the social status, because of certain experience. We have weak points like our class, right? So in common, in general, people think that is too little feeling, like you felt, from you fell out of your bike. I did, twice for the last few years because I started road biking, and I wear click shoes, you know what I mean? So my shoes, at the bottom of my bike shoes, there is a click thingy, so pedal, on the pedal, that clicks are matched. So I just put my foot on a pedal and then click it, and it just joins it. So it is easier to pedal, right? But you have to unclick when you just lose your feet out of your pedals. If you don't do it, you're gonna just fall like this. You stop there, you're gonna fall, and you just forgot to lose your cleat shoes. So cleat shoes is kind of tough, and my friend told me that I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna fall at least several times, but luckily I just fell twice. I just stopped in front of a signal, and I forgot to unloose my cleat shoes, and I felt, oh, what's going on? And I fell. It was very shame. That's what's happening to all people, but for me, that can be very shameful, more shameful, because I had a trauma falling out of my bike. That's an example. I just made it up. So then falling with the bike on the street in the intersection, that can be more traumatic for me because I had a trauma. Bad thing happened before when I was younger in the past. Then I'm feeling, I can hesitate to share that feeling and experience with others, because in general, falling with road bike on the road is kind of common for the beginners. So they think that's what happened to everybody. You don't feel that way, but they don't know, they don't understand what happened to me in the past. what if my father or my close friend died because of the falling out of the bike? Okay? So it's hard to say. That happens to everybody. You don't want to say to people who have, struggles and kind of frustrations because of a certain experience. You better just ask those people what happened in the past and what makes and what things are making the person more troubles. Okay. Alright, depression is more than just a low mood. It's a serious condition that has an impact on both physical and mental health. It's kind of simple, That's what's so called psychosomatic. Soma means body. Psycho is kind of psycho, spirit, mental. Okay? Psychosomatic problem means when you have a problem with your mind, it's gonna affect to your body. When you feel sad, you are not energetic. I'm sad. Nobody feels like that. Okay? When you have bad things in your mind, and your body gonna go slow. Okay? You're gonna lose your bright expression on your face. Okay? You don't talk less. You don't talk much. Okay? You talk less. Right? And when you have a problem with your body, and it affects to your mind too. For example, you just broke your arm, but you are happy in your mind. In your mind, it's crazy, right? I just broke my arm here. There are two bones, from here, and two bones are twisting all the way to elbow. So there is one. There is. Yeah, so there are two bones, and I broke one, and I got broken. Got broke the one of the two bones on here when I was just playing on the playground. That was in middle school, I think. Yeah, middle school. Then I was feeling really bad because that happened because of somebody just interfered my bar workout because I was swinging and somebody just showed up, just passing by the swinging there. So I didn't want to. I was supposed to kick the person out. Then I wouldn't make that kind of incidents, broken my arm. But I just tried to. I was about to swing forward and jump, but somebody just showed up. So I just let my hands up, go, but tried not to hit the person, and I just felt like this, and I put my arm over there, down there, so I broke my arm. When gymnasts are training, they are not supposed to put their hands down, but they just felt like this. Well, they have, like a thick sponge mat, but I didn't have anything but the sand. And I was not gymnast at all. So I broke my arm. And I was feeling really bad. I had to, kind of wear the brace for many weeks, like 4 weeks, I think, until my broken bones could be connected. So it was pretty bad. And I was feeling bad because I couldn't run and I couldn't practice, play with my friends, but I just, Sue was there and as a judge, they didn't need any judge or whatnot, but I was there because I didn't have anything to do without, my left arm. So it was pretty bad. Psychosomatic, somatic, psycho, those are connected. So when you feel, when you have a mood disorder, that affects to your body too, physically, right? So there's no occasion to understand that. Depression is common. As I said, it's like a common cold. A major depressive disorder affects approximately 17.3 million American adults. Okay? Or about 7.1% of the US population age 18 and older. That means 7 people out of 100, they have a major depressive disorder. Major depressive disorder, not like one, okay? National Institute of Mental Health Major Depression 2017 research says that major depressive disorder is more prevalent in women than in men. Okay, and some women told me that is because of guys. Guys are making troubles, and girls, feel bad because of the guys. I don't know. Okay. I'm not sure, but that makes sense in some ways, though. That is by Journal of the American Medical Association, 2003. Okay, 1.9 million children 3 to 17 years old have diagnosed depression. Centers for Disease Control data and statistics on children's mental health in 2018. 1.9 million children. Okay, between 3 to 17. So that is pretty a lot. So depression is everywhere, I think, right? So we can say that. We pass by more than 100 people, like, on the street, on the freeway, we pass, thousands of people and hundreds of people a day. And pretty big numbers of people are struggling with major depressive disorder there. Okay, adults with depressive disorder or symptoms have a 64% greater risk of developing coronary artery disease. All right, that means related with your vein. And that means blood pressure problem, okay, kind of, all right? That research is done by National Institute of Health, Heart Disease and Depression. So heart disease is related with depression, right? And depression makes the more heart disease, okay? Coronavirus 19 has tripled. So there is a research, the relationship between coronavirus and depression. And it says COVID-19 has tripled the rate of depression in US adults in all demographic groups. Tripled. Well, Should be, cause people are stuck in their houses and they couldn't meet their friends and they couldn't enjoy baseball games and basketball games and they couldn't go school. My daughter, she just finished her first year of college and she just stuck in her room for June class. And she told me that that is way harder than her high school. Definitely. She was expecting really nice and wonderful college life, but she couldn't enjoy that because of the COVID. And I had to take care of my daughter who who has feeling bad mood because of the June classes. Especially in those with financial worries, yes, lots of people, have financial problems, even though governments are supporting us. So I think a fourth stimulus package is coming, but I don't know when it's coming. And lots of big companies and small business people, they got support from the federal government, but well, they were happy because they didn't work a lot, but they got kind of good enough money from the government. So some people just used those money for buying yachts, and a businessman caught it by IRS, and he had to stand behind the bar. Bad guys are there always. And the rise is much higher than after previous major traumatic events, according to a study published yesterday in JAMA Network. Okay, led by, I just quoted from a journal, and please remember that. And led by researchers from Boston University, the study involved the data from 1,441 respondents to a COVID-19 life stressors impact on mental health and well-being survey, which was conducted in May 31 to April 13, when 96% of the country was under coronavirus-related lockdowns. It's no wonder, we can expect that. We can expect that, and we understand that. Because we felt that, and we are still feeling that. And there are Delta variants, and in a southern, South America, and in other places, there are Delta variants and Lambda variants. And there are lots of variants, and all the variants are more, more stronger, so that is more contingent, okay? And responses were compared with those from 5,065 respondents to the 2017 and 18 National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey to gauge pre-pandemic depression prevalence. Both the surveys are based on the patient health questionnaire 9. And the most common used self-administered depression screening tool. We use lots of scales to see what's going on, because we don't want to guess or assume, but we want to just have scientific data. So we make kind of certain standardized tools and scales, but we use those questionnaires to people. Okay, there are lots of scales, and developing scales is not quite simple and easy, and it takes lots of time and money. And so major research institutes are making those kind of tools, and that is used for that survey too. And when they answer to the same questions, same skills. I mean, same tools, and then they can compare, right? Before the pandemic and after, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic, something like that. And so we are expecting that they're going to use the same questionnaire, same questionnaire or inventory for after the pandemic. I don't know if it happened, you know, because coronavirus is so contagious, so we, and then there are lots of variants right now, so we cannot say it's gonna end, but we're gonna just live with those things. Like, you know, we have flu shots every year, you know, before the winter, like, you know, kind of 4 times. So maybe we're gonna get vaccine once a year or more often a year, something like that. I got Janssen, I think few months ago, but I don't know how long it lasts. So actually there is no, I don't know, am I supposed to get another Janssen or other vaccines after a year or after 6 months or something? I don't know. Alright, symptoms of depression. Okay, so as we saw, the depression is kind of popular. There are lots of people who are struggling with depression in the US. And what about the symptoms? How we can see if that is depression or not? So symptoms of depression. Depression affects how people think, feel, and act. Yes, when we got a certain disease, whether that is mental or physical, those affect us, our, you know, thinking, feeling, and acting. Sure. Depression makes it more difficult to manage from day to day and interferes with study, work, and relationships. When you feel bad, you don't want to just talk with your friends. You don't want to meet your friends. You don't want to wash your face. You don't want to take a bath, take a shower. You don't want to just rest up because you are depressed. Okay? And you are not energetic enough to work on something and study on something. A person may be depressed if for more than 2 weeks they have felt sad, down or miserable most of the time, or have lost interest or pleasure in most of their usual activities. And I have also experienced several of the signs and symptoms across at least 3 of the categories in the list below. Alright? So symptoms must be more than one. Actually, we need more than one symptoms to diagnose a person as depression. Has depression, okay? Excuse me. It's important to note everyone experiences some of these symptoms from time to time. Yes, and it may not necessarily mean a person is depressed. That's right. So when we diagnose, there are diagnosis standards, as I said, like the DSM-5 and 5R, and you can see to diagnose a person as depression has depression, then you want to see certain symptoms, like at least more than 2 or 3, depends on the diagnosis and depends on the mental health, mental illness, and how long it lasts, and something like that. and how much difficulties in their normal lives, and you're gonna see those things all together, and then you can decide diagnosis this is the depression or not, and schizophrenia or other side, mental illness types you can do, So it is important to note everyone experiences some of these symptoms, yes, and from time to time, and it may not necessarily mean a person is depressed. Equally, not every person who is experiencing depression will have all of these symptoms. Okay, you don't want to see all symptoms, but you see certain numbers of symptoms for certain times, and you can say the person has depression. Feelings caused by depression. Okay, when you have a depression, you can feel, just one or two or three or more than three feelings you can feel: sad, miserable, unhappy, irritable, or overwhelmed, guilty, frustrated, lacking in confidence, indecisive, unable to concentrate, disappointed. As I said, we can feel just one or two or some, in a certain point, for a few days, for a few hours or something, but it's normal. It's normal. We all feel that way. We can't say we got depression because I'm feeling sad today. Because I know it's gonna be okay tomorrow, right? But anyway, depression. When somebody has depression, that person can feel those things. What about the thoughts caused by depression? Okay, a person with depression may have thoughts such as, I'm a failure, it's my fault, nothing good ever happens to me, I'm worthless, there's nothing good in my life, things will never change, life's not worth living, people would be better off without me. Oh my goodness. Well, it's the same thing to the thoughts. We can think that those kind of ways, in those ways, but if we got stuck, stuck in those thinkings for weeks and months, we can see we have depression. All right. What about behavior or symptoms of depression? Feeling, thoughts, and what about the behavior? A person with depression may withdraw from close family and friends, which means I want to just be alone. Don't talk to me. Don't bother me. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to eat with you. I don't want to take a walk with you or something. Okay? Stop going out. Well, because you are feeling sad, because you are thinking you are failure, how you can just take a walk? You can do that and you're gonna feel better, I'm pretty sure. Or you're gonna feel worse because when you see others are working hard in the field and on the street, and they're driving and they're chatting, and you can feel, yes, I'm a failure because I'm not happy. You can think that way, and you're gonna feel more sad. Okay, but in general, people who got depression, they don't go outside much. Like a hikikomori, as I said last week or something. They just stuck in their room and they don't want to just go out. They don't want to even step out of their room. Right? because they are depressed. They don't want to just see others, and then they don't want to wash their faces and get dressed to meet others, even their family members, because they don't feel like that. And stop their usual enjoyable activities that they used to play baseball often, but they don't do it anymore. Not get things done at work or school because they don't feel that way. Rely on alcohol and sedatives. Okay, that means they got depressed. Alright. And physical symptoms. What about their physical symptoms? Feeling, thoughts, behavior, and physical symptoms. A person with depression may experience being tired all the time. Oh, being tired all the time because they are sad. When you feel sad, you feel tired, right? And it's about the same. Your body has no power and energy because you are sad. Feeling sick and run down, okay? Frequent headaches, stomach or muscle pains, or churning gut, sleep problems, they sleep a lot, or they can't sleep because they are thinking so many things. Loss or change or appetite. Only healthy people, they want to just eat more, they want to eat good, they want to eat something, they will eat a lot because they have a good metabolism. But when you feel bad, when you feel sad, when you got depressed, you don't eat much, right? Because you lost your appetite. Significant weight loss or gain. So people usually lose their weight, okay, or they eat a lot because they want to just boost their feelings when they feel sad. They usually stick with sugary food and snacks. I think I just saw a news and a woman who her weight must be more than 300 pounds. She only eats certain ice cream. She doesn't eat anything else but ice cream. And she got sick, and she, medical staff from hospital and 911, they tried to take her out of her room and house, but they couldn't because the doors are the regular doors is not good, big enough for her, so they just broke the doors and door frames, something like that. That was miserable. And that was very sad for me because people can go bad because of the mood disorders like depression. And they can ruin their feelings and behaviors and their lives. It's pretty sad. Alright, we just took a look at symptoms and what caused the depression. Why the exact cause of depression is unknown. A number of things can be associated with this development. Generally, depression does not result from a single event, but from a combination of biological, psychological, social, and lifestyle factors. Okay? Please remember this. A certain thing can trigger that I feel bad, but I can get depression because of that. Not only because of that, but for me, that incident and that event or that thingy, accidents can, that can be related with my past and current conditions and situations, psychological, social, and biological things, and then they can trigger me to be depressed, and it can last longer than a week, months, and years, and then I can just stay in the depression for a long time. All right. Personal factors that can lead to depression. Personal factors that can lead to a risk of depression include family history. I think that is a huge part. Depression can run in families, and some people will be at an increased genetic risk. However, this doesn't mean that a person will automatically experience depression if a parent or close relative has had the condition. Okay? But you have more chance to feel depression, and actually you can feel melancholia. That's what depression, as a melancholiness. When you have any family member who got depression, okay? But it doesn't mean that you're gonna get automatically depression because your father has depression. No. But family history is huge, I think, whether that is genetic or not. Personality. Some people may be more at risk because of their personality, particularly if they tend to worry a lot, have a low self-esteem, perfectionists, are sensitive to personal criticism, or are self-critical and negative. If you have that kind of personality, you are prone to have, depression more. Right? Worry a lot. Because you worry a lot, you worry so many things. You are automatically, worry a lot. What if this TV gonna fail? Okay? And you're gonna just stay like, oh, what if this electricity, electric cable gonna get electric problem? You're gonna get electric shock when you use your computer. Especially I have the kind of metal, metal things on metal case, so you can worry that. All right. So they worry so many things. They think what others don't think. Okay. Have low self-esteem. Oh, I'm nothing. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. I don't like my hairstyle. I don't like my skin. I don't like my eyes. I don't like, the way I do. Right? I want to be perfect. Oh, it's not perfect. So I want to just put my marker somewhere here carefully. Stay there and show the brand up. Sensitive to personal criticism. Well, serious medical conditions. When you have serious medical conditions, you have more chance to get depression, right? This can. I think I told you about the hospital depression. When you got hospitalized in a general hospital, for example, for a long time, more than a week or months or years, or nursing home for years, how I think I'm gonna get depression because I used to visit a nursing home a lot, and I just remember a man. He's tiny. He must be tall like me, but he just shrunk his body, like this. He's just sleeping like this. This side or the other side. He doesn't move a lot. He doesn't actually. And actually, he can't flip his body here, this way or that way, because he got stroke. He can't eat, so he's very skinny. He doesn't speak. I don't know if he can hear, but I believe he's hearing. He lied on the bed for 15 years in a same nursing home. Can you believe that? He was miserable whenever I meet him over there, visit him over there, but I tried to encourage him, and whenever I go there. Sometimes I was feeling that isn't it useless to visit him something, because he doesn't talk, he doesn't even blink in his eyes, because he's always closing his eyes. He never just cough like this, or I didn't hear anything from him, but I touched his hands, and I just tried to sing a hymn, say something, and pray for him. Later on, I got a phone call from his daughter, and she said he's passed away. After 14 years lying on the bed with the same posture, with a stiff body, skinny. I'm gonna get depression when I got there, like that. I'm pretty sure. That's what's called the hospital depression. This can trigger depression in two ways. Serious conditions can bring about depression directly, or can contribute to depression through the associated stress and worry, especially if it involves long-term management of condition or chronic pain. Drug and alcohol use can both lead to and result from depression. Many people with depression also have drug and alcohol problems. Okay? Well, drug and alcohol use, when people got depression, they do that. And those can cause the depression too. Because when people drink alcohol, they just what? They got drunken and they sleep. They wake up and they feel helpless and miserable and judge themselves as losers or failures, and they want to just drink more because they want to forget that. They want to escape from their situations and they don't want to just face their realities. Life events and depression. Research suggests that continuing difficulties such as long-term unemployment, living in an abusive or uncaring relationship, long-term isolation or loneliness, or prolonged exposure to stress at work can increase the risk of depression. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. We are not strong enough to be, to be sober and to be strong and stand firm under those circumstances. Those conditions are pretty tough, right? You lose your job and you can't find your job for a long time, and you fail from your job interview every single time. You don't make money. It's gonna be surprising if you don't feel depression, right? Significant adverse life events such as losing a job, going through a separation or divorce. Well, some people can be very happy because of the divorce and separation, because they hate each other and eventually they just separated. But separation itself and divorce itself is kind of a huge event for those people, so they can feel depression. They can be happy at the same time, but they feel they failed or something, and they can have depression. Or being diagnosed with a serious illness like cancer or stage 3 or 4 may also trigger depression, particularly among people who are already at risk because of genetic, developmental, or other personal factors. And then they can get depressions. Okay? Those are causes of depression, and we can see a little bit more like changes in the brain. Although there has been a lot of research in this complex area, brain is complex. It looks like, it doesn't have any IT devices or something, but the brain is working, hormones or I don't know, kind of electric signals, a lot of electric signals or something like that. We can't even understand what's going on in our brains. We are trying to research our brains, but we cannot say that we know everything, because lots of things are very complex in here. There is still much that we do not know. Yes, depression is not simply the result of a chemical imbalance. For example, because of a person has too much or not enough of a particular brain chemical. However, like endorphin or adrenaline or something like that, yeah. However, disturbances in normal chemical messaging process between nerve cells in the brain are believed to contribute to depression. Disturbance in normal chemical messaging progress between nerve cells in the brain. Well, I'm pretty bad in science, but I like science, but I'm pretty bad. So there are kind of electric signals, for communicating and working, for something and making decisions in our brains, and it can control. You can feel all kinds of feelings, and it can control the feelings and bodies parts, and we can get lots of signals from our body. So, and I got mosquito bites. I got mosquito bites three on my leg, and the body send the signals to my brain, and my brain send me. You notice that it is kind of itchy. So order my arm to reach down my mosquito bites and scratch it for making feel better. Okay, and then if I scratch the mosquito bite spot, and it's gonna just send the signals to my brain, and my brain will feel happy because I scratched the mosquito bites. It was itchy. It's not itchy anymore. Okay. All right, those things. Sometimes certain things are in psychological, area, especially the brain is overwhelmed. I can be overwhelmed because of the lots of delicate and complex science things. Some factors that can lead to faulty mood regulation in the brain include genetic vulnerability, severe life stressors, taking some medications, drugs, and alcohol, some medical conditions. Okay, those can lead to faulty mood regulation in the brain. All right. Most modern antidepressants have an effect on the brain's chemical transmitters. So we take medicines and we can just help our chemicals and electric things. We can control. So we can control our brain, right? That means we feel something bad, but it can help us to. The medications can help us to feel a little bit better, right? Okay. In particular, serotonin and noradrenaline, which relay messages between brain cells. This is thought to be how medications work for depression, right? Serotonin and noradrenaline. So noradrenaline. Sorry for that. Noradrenaline. Okay, so I can just help those things to feel better. Other medical treatments such as transcranial magnetic stimulation (TMS) and electroconvulsive conversive therapy (ECT). ECT is kind of stimulating certain brain point, so it can just stimulate the brain as a treatment. Sometimes it works. It's but they don't use 110 voltage or 220 voltage something, but they use kind of a very little electric treatment. They shock. It's kind of a shocking, right? Or stimulating ECT. May sometimes be recommended for people with severe depression who have not recovered with lifestyle change. Okay, so those kind of things is kind of risky. It looks like risky, but it helps sometimes, especially when people have severe depression. Social support, psychological therapy, and medication. All right, if those are not working well because the depression is pretty tough, I think ECT and TMS can be helpful too. While these treatments also have an impact on brain's chemical messaging process between nerve cells, The precise ways in which these treatments work is still being researched. Alright, seek support for symptoms of depression. Right? Let's see. Okay. Alright, we want to just work on 2 more PowerPoints, and then we want to just work on the types of depression next week. It's kind of many things to take care of. Seek support for symptoms of depression. Depression is often not recognized and can go on for months or even years if left untreated. So we want to just take care of depression as early as we can, so it can be more effective. It's important to seek support as early as possible, as the sooner a person gets treatment, the sooner they can recover. Yeah, all things are similar. When they have a problem, you want to just work on it as soon as possible. Right? Untreated depression can have many negative effects on a person's life, including serious relationship and family problems. When there's kind of no talking and no contact, when those things last a long time, you're gonna lose your relationship, even though those are your parents or siblings or kids. Including serious relationship and family problems, difficulty finding and holding down a job, and drug and alcohol problems. Sure, yeah, you can make those things. Those are kind of what happening to people. There is no unproven way that people recover from depression. However, there is a range of effective treatments and health professionals who can help people on the road to recovery. Okay? So there is no one way they got depression, which means that's why there is no one way they can just, release from the depression. So there are also many things that people with depression can do for themselves to help them recover and stay well. The important thing is to find the right treatment and the right health professional for a person's need. So when you want to just have people who have depression, you want to just consider many things around the person, because as I said, they can get depression because of many things, because of the many symptoms, because of the social relationships, because of the accidents or events and traumatic things, and the way of their thinking, because of the personality and characters and the environment that they have. So when they are living under big stresses because of their parents and their siblings and friends and like bullies and something like that, and they look down and they want to just control their kids, and many things can be kind of problems for those people. They can get depression. So you want to just consider many other things, and it takes a long time to figure it out. How what causes that depression in the particular person, but we need to work on the person hard. So we see almost everything. We collect those things. Triggers the depression and make the depression last long, and then we want to just work from all other areas to solve that problem at the same time. So it takes time and energy, and depression is kind of severe and it looks like nothing and normal, but it can slowly kill people, and it can slowly ruin the person's lives in many ways. So we need to be careful to see what's going on, and try our best to help them right way. So excuse me. So that's kind of hard part for us to take care of those people. But anyway, that's what it is. So depression. So next week we want to just work on types of depression. So there are so many types of depression, and I think we can just finish that type of depression next week. So see you next week.